Hello and welcome. I'm Jeff Penrod, your host, and this is the American Patriots Channel. I got a question for you. I bet you think that you count as much as everyone else when it comes to government policy. After all, the Constitution says that we have a Republican form of government where the citizens have supreme power because everybody has a vote, right? So it basically boils down to the will of the people. Well, I have some bad news for you because that's not how it works. Politicians listen to and vote in favor of the wealthy, not for you and not for me. So obviously we got a problem there and need to do something about it. So let's take a look and dig a little bit further to find out the truth. Our founders believed that a government should be built upon the consent of free and equal citizens. Notice I said equal, and they meant equal. Equal in terms of the influence that they have on the government. So obviously we have some political corruption going on right now because those of greater means, meaning wealthy people and corporations, have undue influence on the government. So let's look into this a little bit further and find out what's going on. Well, we have a study to look at which tells us the facts about the situation. This study comes from Princeton and Northwestern universities, and here's what they said. They said that the economic elites, that means the wealthy, and organized groups representing business interests have substantial independent impact on U.S. government policy, whereas average citizens, pay attention to this part, average citizens like you and me and mass-based interest groups have little or no independent influence. Okay, well, let's be honest with ourselves. Money is the lifeblood of our country. But as Dr. Jeff, I've diagnosed that the patient has a little bit too much circulation of money going on in some areas because the wealthy are buying influence in government policy and influencing the outcome of elections as well. Think of it this way. There's a lot of people out there right now who are struggling to make ends meet. Do they have enough money to make sizable contributions to campaigns? Well, of course not. But the wealthy do. So in effect, the wealthy are taking advantage of those that have little. That's about the same as a bully beating up on somebody who can't defend themselves. And I don't know about you, but I don't like that. I get mad if I see something like that. And I want to step right in there and stop that bully and maybe even apply a little attitude adjustment to that boy too. So we need to do something about this. In addition, you could even call this discrimination, where the wealthy are being given favoritism at the expense of the poor. How can that be right? That is certainly un-American. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said it best when he said, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have little." Darn right. Well, how is this influencing happening? Let's look a little more into the details. We've already talked about campaign financing and contributions. You may not be aware of it, but there's something called a super PAC, a super political action committee. And these committees can be donated to, but the amount of money allowed is unlimited. Unlimited. So a person or a corporation could donate $5 or $5,000 or $50 million. Now just think about it. Let's say you donated, if you had it, $50 million to a campaign and that person got elected. How much influence would you have then? Oh yeah, you'd have plenty. Now, there's another way that influencing could go on as well, and that's by hiring a lobbyist. A wealthy person or corporation could hire a lobbyist who serves as a go-between to gain access to a politician. And here's how that might work. That politician may be holding a fundraiser, like a lunch, where it costs $2,500 per plate. That's pretty typical. I don't know about you, but I cannot afford $2,500 for one meal. But in any case, after the lobbyist attends the luncheon, they have access now to that politician. And they will set up a meeting between the politician and those who hired them in order to get together and talk things over. And that's where it starts, where money changes hands for votes. And from there, it's just an endless cycle over and over and over again. We obviously need to do something about this. And so our goal should be to stop, to prevent inappropriate influencing of our government. And it's clear that what we need to do is address the flow of money, the financing of campaigns, and the contributions to politicians. The way we can do that, and there again, our goal should be to make everybody equal, because that's what it says in our Declaration of Independence, and that's how it should be. From the richest to the poorest, all equal. The way to accomplish that is to stop all contributions to campaigns and candidates, and instead have them get their funding for elections from public funds, from the government, federal, state, local, whichever applies. There's no way that if a candidate gets all their funding from the government directly, that they're going to be influenced by any of that. So that'll work. What it'll do too is it'll have a couple of nice advantages. For one, a candidate now has to spend a lot of their time working on fundraising instead of the important job of trying to get the word out to the public of where they stand on the issues. Well, if we take away all that fundraising work, then what's left is, again, the important work, which is to let us know as voters where they stand on the issues, which helps us to better decide who to vote for. And then once they get elected, our elected officials still have to worry about being reelected, and they're normally spending a lot of their time raising money for their campaign too. What we can do is, if we're funding them already, then they don't have to worry about that, and they can spend all of their time on the most important job, which is to serve the public. That'd be great to take away that distraction. That's all it is, a distraction now. This will work. And one other thing that we need to do then, because politicians sometimes receive gifts, and these gifts might be to themselves, their family, associates, or business interests. It might be in the form of money or material items. We just need to make sure that any gifts don't constitute a conflict of interest. Keep the process squeaky clean so that there are no issues there. So that's all we have to do. Now, in effect, what we're saying then is that we need to end the practice of money buying influence. Abraham Lincoln said that the government is to be of the people, by the people, and for the people. He didn't say the government has to be of the powerful, by the greedy, and for the wealthy. Obviously not. It's for all of us. The country belongs to the people. We need to change laws regarding campaign finance and gifts to politicians. That gives the power back to the people where it belongs, to you and to me. Well, that's all I have today for the content of my discussion. Next time, you're going to want to come and see this because it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about corrupt politicians. Now, there are a lot of good politicians out there, good public servants, but there are some that are corrupt. They don't really care about you and me. They care about themselves and their party. They're interested in power and wealth for themselves. So we're going to talk about them and how to tell the good ones from the bad ones. It'll be really interesting. It might open your eyes a little bit too. Well, until then, just want to say I hope everyone is safe and healthy. God bless America, and God bless each and every one of you. See you next time.